Welcome to the Play Big podcast with Coach Curtis Dean. Coach Curtis is a certified life and health coach. Coach Curtis's passion is to help everyone reach their highest potential. If you're stuck in a rut in your career, relationship, or personal growth, Coach Curtis will challenge you to play big through transformational habit change coaching. Coach Curtis will help you clarify your goals, identify your obstacles, and design strategies to overcome them. So get ready, get pumped up, and let's play big. Hey everyone, welcome to the Play Big podcast, playing bigger with Coach Curtis and Joan. We are excited. I'm excited to have my beautiful wife with me every week to help me out on my podcast. Something exciting tonight. We do not have any guests. You guys just get all of us. And I hope we are live. I don't see me on my page. We've been having a little bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully we're there. If you're having any problems, you can, which I don't know if you'll even see this to know what I'm saying, but you can head over to YouTube, catch us on YouTube. We are there. I just don't see us on my page yet, but that's okay. We're going to move forward. If you don't get to watch it live, you can always watch it on the replay at YouTube. I think it's called Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcast. Basically just click Google Podcast. Where can I see Play Big Coach? And it should come up for you. Okay. I always start off in such a rush.
Like, relax.
Bring it down.
Bring it down a little bit, dear.
Okay.
You're like here. I'm going to need you here. Okay.
Always. All right. So, what we want to do is talk this week about spring cleaning and spring cleaning your relationship, spring cleaning your friendship, spring cleaning your life. Before we get into all that, we want to talk a little bit about and just say thank you to last week's guest, the amazing Coach Kamal, who has a wonderful new book out. If you haven't checked it out, look at last week's podcast so that you can check it out and see where you can purchase his book on Amazon. It is truly amazing and life-changing. Also, we had Pastor Dozel on, a great man of God who's doing great things, and we appreciate him just being our friend and being a part of our lives. And so we had him on last week. We had some great talks. We had a lot of great things that came out. We had over 5,000 people watch our podcast from 2 weeks ago, and that's pretty amazing. So we're averaging about 4,500 to 5,000 viewers every 2 weeks, and that is fabulous, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you doing that for us. We appreciate you coming on and looking. If you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on one of the podcast sites, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, what have you, subscribe to us. Let us know you're there. We are also on Instagram as the Play Bigger Coach. We are also now on TikTok. Yeah, that's... Sorry. Oh, man, TikTok's a whole new world. It is frightening over there. I can talk here all day long. TikTok is frightening. There's all kind of shenanigans that go on TikTok.
Okay,
so
your 13-year-old granddaughter can be on TikTok. You should be,
It's true. After my first TikTok video, my 13-year-old granddaughter sends me a message and she said, "Papa, you did good." And I'm like, "Really? I will smack you when I see you, child." Thank you. I did good from a 13-year-old. Hey, all right. I love it. But we are trying to get out and help as many people as we can in as many different mediums as we can, whether it be the Tick That Talks, whether it be Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We're trying to be everywhere. We're trying to be everywhere so that we can get the message of love and peace and hope out to everyone. So I'm still not seeing me on the book that is Face, but that's okay. We're just going to go on and pretend we're there. Like I said, if you didn't get to see it live and we do get it up, you can catch it on YouTube. So tonight we're going to talk about spring cleaning. Now, I'm a little worried about this episode because spring cleaning usually means you're getting rid of a lot of junk, right? And this was her idea, so I'm just wondering I don't know. I'm wondering about what she's trying to get rid of. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so
you got to do what you got to do to make the relationships work.
That is correct. We've got wine in hand.
Well, I read something this week or this morning probably that how do you feel when you go through your closets or go through your kitchen and get the stuff out that doesn't fit anymore. You haven't worn it in a year, or you just don't need it anymore. And you drop it off at the donation site, the Goodwills, the thrift stores, whoever, whatever thing you use to get rid of the just stuff. And how does it make you feel? That makes you feel invigorated. It makes you feel motivated. It makes you feel just good about yourself.
It makes you feel free.
It makes me feel free so I can buy more stuff to put in my closet. So, hey, you get rid of the old clothes, time to get new clothes. It's just, something you do every year, something that makes you feel better about yourself. Well, it's the same thing in relationships.
It is.
It's freeing to look at all the relationships you have, from the few on social media or your friends from years ago that you like a post here and now, every once in a while, to your kids, your significant other, your partner, those relationships that mean everything to you. And the best one is yourself. You always have a relationship with yourself. And I think that's where we need to start, to see how about cleaning up that relationship, getting rid of the yuck out of your brain to move on, to move forward.
It's true. You can't heal any relationship till you heal your own relationship, right? If you don't love you, it's hard for anybody else to love you. And so that's sad but true. Am I right? So you've got to be able to come and love yourself, and to excuse me, to be able to love yourself. A lot of times you got to get rid of a lot of baggage. And some of that baggage, and this is just going to be real talk tonight, folks, some of that baggage can be friends. It can be family. It can be, I dare say, a spouse or loved one, a significant other or a partner. Or it can just be some of the things in your life that you're doing every day that are holding you back. One of my favorite memes that I post a lot is that if you're looking for how you're doing, what you need to do, make a list of the things you love and want to do. Make it a list of the things you're currently doing, and then edit. Does that make sense? Because it's like, oh, I want to be an author. I want to write 5 books this year. Wow, how much have you written? Oh, I don't write. I haven't written anything.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense at all. If you want to have a garden, you have to plant seeds, and you have to plant those seeds yourself. Nobody can plant your seeds. Nobody can water your seeds. They can help you. They can be in your garden. They can work with you, but you've got to work on your own relationships. How has that worked for you?
It took me a while to love myself. I mean, to be honest, to get into a place where I could be myself, be my authentic self, and still realize that I could have the true relationships that make me happy. It took me many, many, many years to get there. I mean, I was probably in my 30s before it actually really took effect. And that was just years of going through cleaning out the relationships in my life, cleaning out the mental just junk in my head, carrying those relationships that, oh, this is what you should do. Your parents say you should do this. And you have to be, this big happy family, when in my family, it was not really like that. So, you have to I had to let go of a lot. And that was very, very hard, because it is family relationships. It's the relationships I grew up with for 30 years to that point. And so it was like, wow. But in order to love myself and love my husband and love my children better, I had to let some of those relationships go, because they were bringing me down. They were taking more of my mental time than they should have.
Right. And you can't just continue to add in if you're not letting go. Your mind, your body will only hold so much. This is a little graphic way to say it, but what my daddy used to say is you cannot put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Okay? You can only put so much in there, guys. You can't just say, well, I'm going to keep all that stuff, but now I'm just going to love myself and think happy thoughts and everything's going to be great. Because it's not. Okay?
Because that little voice back there is going to just keep gnawing at you and gnawing at you. And it's not the best thing to get rid of some of the relationships, or even some of that self-hate that you're feeling about yourself, that the things that you've been told all your life. Well, you should act like this. Why?
Dress like this.
Dress like this. Talk like this.
Don't eat that.
Don't, just, you know what? It's about freeing yourself. And you have to look at that from the inner part of yourself. And then you can start, once you kind of think about why you feel that way and what relationships spread out from there, then you can start looking at those other relationships and decide, is that toxic? Do I need to step back from that? Maybe not let it go completely, but maybe I need to take a step back. Or is this one just bad? Look, I just got to let this one go. I'm sorry. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be hurtful. It's going to make you feel bad at that decision.
At the time.
But then, a week later, when you're not dealing with that, or you're not dealing with the daily phone calls or the daily, just stuff, you're going to realize, wow, I spent so much time on that versus that time on me and the people that I can grow with and that encourage me and that support me, and I can encourage them and support them.
And that's the other thing, is making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, because, and I hate to say this, but usually family's the worst. Am I right? Because, there's always that one person at the family reunion who goes, oh my God, you're pregnant again. Oh my God, you look so good. Have you lost weight? So you're saying I didn't look good before. When you're around 10 people who tell you how beautiful and amazing and strong and dominating you are every day, you're not going to hear that as much as you hear that one voice that says, oh, wow, 2 cookies? Okay. No, you do you, sister. It's okay. That's what they're saying. So you got to get rid of those people. And sometimes that's not easy. And if you don't get rid of them entirely, maybe you just turn their volume down to where you're not hearing it. Alyssa, you are right. It is so hard to let go when it's not what you want. I am estranged from most of my family, my sister, my brothers, when they pass, because of all these kind of things. It isn't, I'm not going to feed myself with garbage. I'm not going to let the garbage root inside of me. You have to make those decisions. I had a friend, I think I may have told this on the show before. And if I did, you'll be all right. Somebody might have not have heard it. We were friends since high school, since our days in Vidalia, Georgia, the sweet onion capital of the world. We were high school friends. We've been buddies for years and years and years, spent multiple times at each other's homes. He was my best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. And one day I was basically just complaining about all the shit he put me through. And somebody said, let me ask you a question. If you were to met him today, would you still be friends with him? And the answer was, oh, hell no. Why would I? And then the other question was, then why are you still? Right?
Because you're supposed to.
It was comfortable.
It was comfortable. It was like, yes, we've been friends forever. Why would I do that to him? But at the same time, all it was bringing you down.
Absolutely. And how many of you hate to go to a family event? You hate to go to a Christmas party. You hate to go to Thanksgiving dinner because you always have to be on pins and needles, right? Because there's always going to be those little snarky remarks, or there's always going to be, and you say, well, that's just family. You can't help that. It's going to be the way it is. I call bullshit. It doesn't have to be that way. We need to start as human beings putting out those boundaries. Because you know what? When someone makes those remarks, they're disrespecting you. They are just being totally disrespectful. If you were in a bar or a dinner at a restaurant and some guy said something like that to your wife, it'd be like me and you going to have a conversation, but you'll let her uncle say it, or her sister, or her brother, or her dad, because, they're family. You just have to understand that's how Uncle blah, blah, blah has always been. Bullshit. You have to start setting those boundaries. You got to spring clean your life for your better. Because when you're better, your relationship's better, your children are better, their children are going to be better. We are breaking
the cycle. We're breaking
years and years and years of toxicity and traits that have held us down for years.
And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for them.
It's not.
Because they're playing the same game. They're thinking, God, why do I do this to myself? Why do I spend time with this person or spend time with that person when all we do is either fight, argue, or just be mean to each other? You don't have anything good to say about each other. Why would you keep putting yourselves or themselves in that situation.
You know, the one thing that I value about my friend Kim, Toya says, is it possible to break the cycles by yourself? That's really hard. It's true, but you've got to have some kind of support.
Yes.
If you're a single person, then sure you can. But if your husband, and say it's your mother-in-law who's being toxic, you've got to get your husband to buy into the fact that you either got to shut her down or I'm going to shut her out of my life. So it's very hard to do alone.
There's always that one person though. At some point, even if you are single or whatever, you still have to do it by yourself because you alone have to make those decisions. But there should always be somebody that has your back 100%, no matter what. They're the first person you call when you say, look, I gotta go bury the body, and they're gonna go, okay, whose car we're taking? That's your ride or die. That's who's gonna support you. And you can talk to them, but you cannot let them make those decisions for you. You're still doing it yourself, making those decisions.
Absolutely. And if it is someone in the other side of the family who's bringing you those issues and you've got to have those hard conversations. Alyssa says you have to set examples for your children and show them the people to surround themselves with. Absolutely. You know, our daughter now is fiercely independent, and she's with a really good man because we taught her from a young age that she doesn't have to put up with that shit.
Right.
She doesn't feel like she has to be with a man just to be with a man. She has to be with a man who values her and values her worth, right? And, you know, I made it very clear there were some things early on in the relationship where I had to make it very clear, when you're wondering what side I'm going to come down on, it's always going to be this side right here. Mm-hmm. And if it's not going to be that, you may not be happy with me, okay? So what are some other areas? What were some other things we were talking about?
Like, we fall complacent in relationships. And there's some things you can do, even if you're working on yourself. There's a ton of different things you can do with some of these relationships to make them. And some of them are silly. Some of them are, you know, fun. Some of them just make you want to think about, like, dating. Go back. We've been married 25 years and we got out of the habit of this. And I think we had a little rough spot last week. We're not going to lie. We went through a little thing. We talked it out. It was all me. No, it wasn't all me, but whatever. It was both of us. There's two sides to a pancake. You know that. No
matter how flat it is, there's always two sides to a pancake.
You know, because we used to have date night. We used to, you know, before COVID and before all this other stuff, we would make it a point. And even if it was at home, we'd cook a meal together. We'd have a nice night together. We'd turn the candles on. We'd eat at the table when we usually eat on the couch. You know, we made it something that could be us. You can do that for yourself too. You make it a point of, look, tonight I'm going to me time. I'm going to cook me a nice dinner. I'm going to put the candles on. I'm going to get my book out. I'm going to read whatever self-help book, whatever romance novel, trashy novel, whatever makes you feel good about yourself. You got to take that me time. Date yourself, date your partner.
And it's true. So last night she just wanted meat and cheeses for dinner. That's all she wanted. And so I could have got 2 paper plates and thrown some crap on a couple of paper plates and brought it to us. And this is not to make me sound like him. This is just talking about how you have to take that extra step. I took the time to make a really nice board. There was a picture of it on my Facebook, a really nice board. And I arranged the meats and cheeses, and you know, I got us wine in the nice glasses instead of just the everyday glasses. I got us wine in the nice glasses. And we didn't get to stay on the patio because the traffic noise is too damn loud out there. And the pollen count's like 800 bajillion, and I would be sneezing my head off.
The cat jumped all over the place because we were invading her space now. So,
but we made that effort to make something as simple as meat and cheese is important. Okay. So date night is super important, and it doesn't have to be a plain old date night. It doesn't have to be something super spectacular, but it doesn't have to be plain either. There's so many different things you can do, and I'll try to post it again. But one thing that we did, it was really cool, is one time we just took a bunch of popsicle sticks, and one of our girlfriends helped us with this. And we just wrote on there, like one of them was, there was 3 categories: places you can go, things you can do, and how you have to dress, right? So we wrote them out, like go to the beach, go to a play, go to dinner, walk around the park. And then there were the different places you could do it, like, again, at the beach or maybe in Fernandina or maybe in St. Augustine. But then the fun part was, what do you wear? Like, you had to dress up in a suit and tie. So what if you got suit and tie, but you wound up going to dinner on the beach? That's just time to be fun and silly.
Yeah.
What if you were in, shorts and a tank top and wound up going to a play? You'd probably get kicked out. But you guys get my drift. It was kind of fun to be able to just pick those different things and see where it landed and go out and have fun with it.
And you can do the date night or whatever you want to call it with your family too. If you are wondering about your relationships with your family, hey, look, let's get 3 or 4 of us together. Let's go out and do this and see how it goes. And then you can kind of reevaluate those relationships in your life too. It's not just about anything that we're talking about is not just about you and your significant other, your partner. It's about all the relationships in your life. So all these things that we talk about can be done either with yourself to make you realize your inner self, and with everybody else, what that relationship consists of. And is it something that you want to keep? Is it something that you want to do all the time?
And Alyssa says, never stop dating when, oh, I missed it. Oh, I don't know. What did you say? Let's never stop dating when something, I missed it. Never stop dating when you stop that, you lose each other.
Yeah,
that is 100% correct. Like you guys, those of you who follow us on Facebook know, usually when Joan is off on Saturday or Sunday, because I usually have my weekends off, we have a date and we love to eat brunch. We were on a quest for a year to find the best fried green tomatoes in Jacksonville or the surrounding area. And that was what we did. It was fun. It was silly. We drink drinks and we eat great food. And that's what we do.
Sometimes we include our friends. Sometimes we include our daughter and our son-in-law. We went out couple weeks ago, we finally got the grandbaby out, and my daughter was so excited. She said, I finally feel like a human again. I mean, she's been sheltered with the baby because it's really scary to bring a baby out nowadays. So, it was like, yes, I want to feel like a human being again. So, so she can get back into those relationships.
And so we just went to Bahama Breeze and we sat on the patio and we ordered appetizers and we ordered meals and we ordered drinks and we had a ball. And it wasn't anything super duper exciting. It was just family. And we have a couple of other friends we hang out with from time to time. And you guys will understand, Joan and I are a little different from a lot of couples because we like to be together all the time. We generally do.
No, yeah, we do.
We genuinely do. We have a few couple friends who they lead basically separate lives. I mean, she does her thing, he does his things, and they intersect sometimes at home. And if that works for them, that's great. Generally, Joni and I are together all the time. Yeah. I never forget when I was married to my second wife. And yes, I've been married 3 times. And yes, I'm a relationship coach because I know what it takes to have a great relationship because I have been married 3 times. And right now I'm in year 25. Okay. So don't come at me. So anyway, I remember one time my second wife, she said, oh, I planned vacation and I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And I said, wow, you can't really spring that on me like that because, I got to make sure I can get that time off. And then she just looked at me and went, you're not going. That's a vacation for me. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with that. At all. There's nothing wrong with taking separate vacations. But that was a
conversation that should have happened before. Hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking I want to do. I just need a couple of days to myself.
Yep.
And that's perfectly fine. I told Curtis the other day, he got me a great birthday present. I got a massage and a facial, and I'm like, that's good. Because there are days that I just need a me day.
Yeah.
And Curtis just needs a me day. I like taking Mondays off. Curtis goes to work. I go deliver for our other business. And I come home and I do things my way. He laughs the way I clean the house and laughs at the way I do things. So when he's not there, I can get my things done the way I get them done. It's a me time. So it's just the way it works. Sometimes you do need to be a day, a couple of days.
And like I said, there was nothing wrong with her wanting a vacation on her own. There was the fact that we'd never had that conversation. And I had never been in that kind of relationship. I'm an all-in kind of relationship guy. If you're dating me, girl, you dating me 24/7, 365. I'm right
yes, you
there.
are. Yes, he is. And it's not a bad thing if, again, it took me a while to get there. When we first started dating and when the first couple of years we got married, I didn't understand that. I still haven't found my inner love relationship. I still hadn't found my relationship with myself in order to let him into my relationships. So
and I was very touchy-feely, and she was not. She wasn't raised in that kind of household. She wasn't raised in a household with a lot of hugs and kisses and I love yous. Maybe not a lot at all.
Yeah.
But I was. Like I've said 1,000 times, my dad was my biggest fan. I grew up with that. So for me, the hugging and touching and being, and she's met my cousins now. When you walk in the door, it's a neck hug. When you walk out, it's a neck hug. We're country. That's how it is. You're getting a hug. I'm sorry. COVID be damned. So she was not used to that, and it was really hard for her to get into that part of the relationship. Now she expects her back rub. She expects her feet rub. She expects her head rub. She expects all those things that, 25 years ago, she was like, oh my God, will you leave me alone? And now she's like,
touching me. Stop touching me. It's like that little kid. I'm not touching you. Yeah, just stay away from me.
And now she's like, my feet are in your lap and you're not rubbing. I don't understand what's happening here. Another thing you can do, take a class. Now, this is something Joan likes to do a lot. And a few years ago, we took one of those paint with wine. You don't paint with wine. You go to
painting with a twist or whatever.
Painting with it. So in other words, you go to a place and you do a canvas and you paint on the canvas while you drink wine. I don't know if y'all noticed, I am really good at this part of that. I suck at art.
He wasn't that bad.
Okay, the girl literally looked at my picture and said, wow, you're really good at wine. So that's how bad it was. So, but to me, I enjoyed it. I had fun being with her, but gun to my head, I would have never picked that to do on my own, right? She went with me to the POW MIA Museum on the Florida-Georgia border and walked around with me for, 2.5, 3, 4 hours, however long the exhibit takes to go through. And I knew in the back of her mind, she would really rather be, getting pins and needles stuck under her thumbnails, probably. To her, I'm sure it was incredibly boring, but it was so cool to me. And those are the sacrifices you make for your relationship.
Of course, you have to do something that each other just really doesn't want to do, but you end up having fun because you're together.
Exactly.
And again, back to your inner self, if you have to take a me day, do something that nobody else wants to do with you. You go and do it. Damn be all, and just say, look, I don't care. Y'all don't like it? Tough. I'm going to go by myself and I'm going to enjoy myself. And that way, again, you're freeing yourself. You're freeing you from those people that are just negative about the things you like, the things you like to do.
Exactly. If you, years ago, we lived in Connecticut. By the way, if you ever get a chance to do that, don't.
Don't offend people.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend any of my friends who are from Connecticut. I love you. Did not like Connecticut, but I'm just saying. I was generally off on Fridays, and Joan always had to work. So she does not like going to the movies.
No.
And I love going to the movies. So on Fridays when I was home alone, I would go to the movies. And I would have a couple of hours and see maybe 2 movies that day, eat really bad for me hot dogs, buttery popcorn, drink sugary drinks, and enjoy my damn self. Alyssa says you have to give and do equally for each other and with each other. That is exactly right. Mike and Alyssa are a couple who get it. I really enjoy our friendship with them. We met at work, and our friendship has grown stronger over the last little while. But I see the sacrifices they make for each other and for their children to make sure that things go right. And that's really incredibly important. I don't want to revisit where we met because that was McDonald's. I do that a couple times a week anyway.
I like to play 20 questions.
20 questions.
Like you go with your partner, and even though you might have been married forever, you've dated forever, do you know his favorite color?
That brings me to my friend that I'm not friends with anymore, that I was friends with for so long. He calls me one day and he goes, oh man, my wife's all pissed off at me. And of course I'm like, dude, what did you do? Because I knew it was him. I've been around him. He's like, she asked me to stop by the store on the way home and get her a candy bar. And I asked her, what kind? And now she's pissed because I don't know what her favorite candy bar is. I'm like, dude, how do you not know what her favorite candy bar is? You guys have been together like 6, 7, 8 years. And he's like, oh, you know Joni's favorite candy bar? I said, yeah, it's a Three Musketeers bar.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you know her favorite color? Green. What's your favorite movie? The American President. I'm not doing this with you anymore. I'm done with you. I'm fine. That's fine. You're better than I am. I said, it's not about being better. It's about listening and paying attention.
Exactly. You have to listen to each other, truly listen. It's a funny story. It's not, yeah, it's a little funny story.
I don't know where we're going with this one, but okay.
At one point before we ever started dating, I was looking through the newspaper at work, and there was a restaurant on Disney property that looked amazing. And I was like, oh man, I wish we can go there. But me and my husband at the time, it was very, very expensive. And it's something that we'd have to put off for a while for a trip. We were young. We just had Megan. That kind of dinner wasn't possible. So I just made the comment like, oh, that would be really cool. I would really love it. Blah, 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 blah. Come 5, 6, 7 years later, I guess, when we started dating and going there, he said, oh, I got a great birthday date for you. And blah, blah, blah. He says, we're going here, we're going there. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. What is that? He's like, how do you not remember saying that? I'm like, oh my God, if I said it, that was 5 years ago. And,
I had a limo pick us up, and I said, we're going somewhere you've always wanted to go. And she's like, oh my God, where? And so we pull up, and I said, it's called Victoria and Albert's. It's in the Grand Floridian on Disney property. This place is amazing. Basically, you get a dinner table off to the side. There's nobody but you and whoever you're eating with. And you have a maid and a butler through the entire meal. It's a 7-course meal. Each course of meal has a wine pairing with it. It's stupidly expensive, but at the time I made good money and I could afford it. And I remember the look in her eyes when she said that, when she wanted to go to this place. And again, it was 2-3 years later. And when we get there, I'm like, we're going to Victoria and Albert. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, you don't seem to be as excited as I thought you would be. And she goes, well, I've never been here. I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, but you do. You read this newspaper article and we were at the restaurant.
I said it in passing. That was, 5 years ago and a million miles ago. But he remembered because he listens and he does it to everybody. He just doesn't do it to me. In our Muggle job, when he goes to different stores, if, they're having a great day, they're having a good week, he'll stop and buy them, a coffee or whatever. And he doesn't have to call them. He knows what they like.
Yeah.
And that's just listening. It's active listening. And you have to active listen to yourself as well. And I know I keep bringing this back to your inner self because before you can change your relationships with others, you have to change your relationship with yourself.
It's true. And I don't do any of those things for accolades. I do that because, and that's the way my dad was. I remember a story from years and years ago. My dad passed in 1989. So God knows when this was, back in the 70s, probably. It was when we were still living in Jacksonville before we moved away. And mom and dad were at the wall. And for those of you who live in Jacksonville, it was the Regency Mall. So if that doesn't date me, you just don't know. It was at the Regency Mall, and mom and dad loved country music. And there was this pin. It was a diamond-studded pin that looked like a fiddle, and it was gorgeous. And while they were walking through the mall, it was in the window one day, and mom really liked it, and we couldn't afford it. We were just a few steps above poor folks. We weren't poor, but we weren't even quite middle class yet. A few years later, through some things, Dad had gotten a chunk of money, and I remember him going to the mall and buying that for my mom, and her being so just blown away that he had remembered after 2, 3, 4 years, this piece of jewelry that she'd one time saw in a window that she wanted. And that stuck with me to always remember, because when you remember things about people, it makes them feel like they're important to you. And
they are important to you.
They are. And that's how you know.
Keep these relationships, if you're going to make them work, they have to be important to you. They have to be worth fighting for. They have to be number one, put them ahead of anybody else.
Exactly. So spring cleaning, what would spring cleaning look like in a relationship? It might be, I found someone posted this the other day on one of the groups that I'm in. It's in a men's group, I think. And I posted it to my men's group. And the question was a question for you to ask your spouse. Am I loving you today like you still need to be loved? Wow, that's a big one, because this is not the same girl I married in 1996 who was 25, 26 years old, very insecure, very
introverted. I was very shy. I was very just.
Her entire closet was hunter green and brown. And, those of you who follow our Facebook page now, her hair's a different color every month. Her outfits are bright and powerful. None of that ever happened. And to the girl I'm married to today, if I didn't grow and mold and change with that, how do I know if I'm still loving her the way she wanted to be loved? Just because you took what is your love language in 2000, that does not mean that's your love language today. Because if you have grown and you have empowered yourself and you have recreated yourself, then there's a good chance that your love language has changed. It doesn't have to, but it could have, or it could have incorporated other things. So it's always good to have a check-in. A check-in in a spring cleaning relationship is, am I still loving you the way you need and want to be loved? And that is not an easy question to ask somebody, because the answer could scare you shitless. It could be a very, very frightening answer. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for honesty. I mean, like some real honesty. Like, am I still loving you the way that you want to be loved? Well, to be honest. And when someone says, well, to be honest, it means one of two things. They're fixing to tell you a lie, or they're fixing to open your shit up on wide open. They're put all your stuff out on Front Street. Okay. So that's what you have to be ready for.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. I mean, and when you're looking at these relationships, you want to kind of think about how you want to approach it. Like, you want to look at, honestly, start with your social media page. You have 900 friends. How many of those are important to you? It's so easy to, click that block button, that unfriend button. And it's just you empowering yourself to start this journey. It's going to be a long journey. Just because it's spring doesn't mean it ends at spring and the start of summer. This is something you look at 6 to 8 months, and then next spring, when you're ready to do it again, you kind of start all over again. So you want to start easy. Long distance relationships, are they really there for you? Is it something that you want to continue? Is it something that you need? A perfect example, me and one of my best friends, we call each other bad friends. We go 6, 8, 9 months. We don't talk to each other. We don't Facebook each other. We don't call each other. We don't do anything. And then when something important happens or something we need to let each other know, it's like, okay, we're going to talk. We're going to talk for 3 or 4 hours. We're going to get everything caught up in our lives. And then we do it again. Then it's 6 or 8 months. But that's our friendship. So if you have a friendship like that and both sides are okay with it, because we call each other bad friends, it's funny, then that's okay. But if you have those relationships that you go 6 or 8 months without talking, is it really worth it? You can just totally go on Facebook and unfriend that person. That first step is what you have to do.
Yeah. And don't be one of those cheesy people who goes on Facebook and goes, all right, I'm going through my list and starting to unfriend people today. Don't do that. Don't do that crap. Nobody cares. Do it. And you don't have to broadcast it. That's not important.
No, you just do.
Because number one, you're just looking for attention when you do that crap. It's like saying, oh my God, I'm having such a bad day. When everybody goes, oh my God, what is it? I don't want to talk about it. Don't do that. Don't. That's called vague book. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Let's just don't do that. But the other thing is Joan and I worked for McDonald's down in Kissimmee, Florida, back in the mid-90s, early 90s to mid-90s. And there are still a group of 4, 5, 6 people that we still talk to regularly. They like our Facebook things we like. I just posted a thing the other day that said, where did we meet? And 2, 3, 4 of what I call my girls all chimed in and said, oh my God, you gave me my first interview at McDonald's and hired me, gave me my first job. And I have seen them grow from 15-year-old school kids to these beautiful, incredibly talented boss women who have incredible jobs, incredible families, incredible lives. And I look at that now and I am so enriched by that. A few friends from my CarMax days in Atlanta, that still hit me up. Me and Deneen were on the phone for a couple hours today. And there's Martha and there's, she's going to be mad because now I can't remember her name, Martha and Deneen and Jennifer. Little red. That's her. And we still talk now. We still talk to each other and comment on each other's things because there's things that come up from those days. Those are people that I cherish because I don't necessarily interact with them a lot. But when I do, it's meaningful. You know, I have watched their children grow up. I have been a part of their lives, even if it's on the peripheral, and it means something to me, versus someone who tags you in a post and wants to be your friend and then sends you a DM and says, do you know that I can help coaches make $5,000 to $7,000 a week? You can have 35% more clients and only 1 month. Now,
delete.
Yeah, don't come at me with that crap. You know, that's not what we're here for. And it happens all the time.
Yeah, you want those meaningful relationships, even on Facebook, even on Twitter, on TikTok, whatever media thing you're on. I'm not on pretty much any of them. It's just not my thing, and everybody knows that. So if I post something, it's really rare. So everybody likes it because they think it's funny. Oh my God, Joan's on social media.
Usually it's food.
And usually I'm tagging my daughter. So that's what it is, because we eat. We're big girls and we eat. We like to eat. So you want to start there, something relatively easy, and then you want to start looking at those closer relationships, and those are going to be the hardest. Those are going to be the ones that you really have to sit and think about. But if you're talking to those people and you're realizing that you can hold a conversation and not go, oh my God, I'm never going to get this half hour again back in my life. Like, this was just a waste of 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if that's what you're thinking, then that's not a good relationship. If you engage and you talk about things, then yeah, more power to you. Go out with your girlfriends, go out with your friends, and enjoy those days. Go out with your partner, your significant other, your husband, whatever you're calling them at the time. I don't know what the terminology is anymore. It changes daily. So whomever.
That was one of the things that I realized too in my second marriage was I spent a lot of time out with the boys. I was always out with the guys. We were always out drinking and partying and going to clubs and doing this and that, and hanging out and going to here and going there. And as soon as I got married to Joan, I didn't feel the need to do that anymore because I was happy where I was at. I wasn't trying to replace something. I wasn't trying to chase something. I wasn't trying to find something. I was at a place, and I don't want this to sound, I was at it was a place of complacency because I was complacent about where I was at. I was happy where I was at. I was comfortable where I was at, I guess is a better word.
Comfortable's good. I mean, and some people don't like the word comfortable. Yeah. So, but it's just the way he felt.
That's good, Joan. If you're like you're wasting time, maybe you shouldn't be connected to the person anymore. Absolutely.
Yeah. If it seems like a waste, if it seems like it's just, you're just spinning your circle, spinning. Or I'm just going to keep swimming. It's not worth it. I got rid of some relationships that I had for a long time, and it hurt in the beginning. It did. And as the more I thought about it and the more I didn't deal with that relationship or didn't have to deal with that person, wow, so much more time I had, more time I can put into our relationship, more time I can talk to my daughter and make sure I'm checking in with her because I'm not dealing with the 45 minutes of conversation that I will never get back in my life. I mean, I can have 45 minutes with Curtis. I can have 45 minutes with Megan. I'm working now that Megan's on maternity leave. I'm working with my son-in-law, and it's amazing. Megan says, "Oh my God, you two can't work together anymore," because we have become those
a little team.
People. We're a little team now, and it's funny. He calls me mom, and he'll call me mom in the store, and people, at work, and they'll look at each other. He's like, it's a long story. Just don't worry about it. And but we have this rapport now that we never had before because we make time for each other now.
But I also think it goes back to what we were talking about before. We raised Megan in such a way that she brought someone into our circle who fits our circle.
Yes.
Right? Now, there's nothing wrong with bringing in someone into your circle that shakes your circle up if it's in a good way.
Yeah.
Right? Some people can help you get out of your doldrums, but you bring people into your circle. They say that the people that you're around today, the books that you read, the TV shows you watch are going to shape your next 5 years, which is why I refuse to watch The Masked Singer because I don't know what that 5 years would look like. But anyway,
it'd be colorful. It'd be full of joy and song and
I don't believe that at all. But anyway, the people you're around, the people you surround yourself now, teamwork makes the dream work. You know it. The people you're around now every day, the books you read, the shows you watch, the things you associate your mind with are what you're going to be in 5 years, right? So I have met some incredible people at HCI, and some of them are very much on the peripheral of what I do. Some of them, if I don't hear from them for 1 or 2 days, Nikki, I will check in and see where she's at. If Nikki has not checked in with me in a couple of days, if we haven't had a conversation, I have one, I call her my girlfriend. She's my work wife at work. And our entire relationship consists of sending each other inappropriate memes. That's our entire relationship. We love inappropriate comedy, humor, and my wife doesn't give a shit. So
I could really care less. I don't want to see that stuff.
It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes out of her life she's not spent with me trying to explain what the joke is.
Exactly, because I just don't get it sometimes, and she does, and I'm okay with it. We joke. I'm like, okay, are you going to see your work wife today? Like, do I need to be worried?
But that is our.
But it's just
that's our
fun.
entire relationship is just sending in each other inappropriate memes. I have a friend, a guy who actually, when we were work together, we were, I guess you'd say, friends, but we've become big friends since then. His name is Scott, and he lives in Atlanta. And he and I, we're another one. We might go for a whole week and not talk, and then we'll start exchanging, memes, or we'll talk about this or that. And
oh my God, these two cannot
things.
be in a room together. That's for dang sure. It's just gonna be.
But it's a simple and easy relationship. It's not.
It's not complicated.
There's some people when I see their name pop up on my messenger feed or on my text messages, my first thought is, shit, what is this going to be? Whereas, oh my God, let me see what Scott's got today. That's the kind of relationship you want.
It's those relationships, the ones. Oh my God, what is he going to talk about now? Those are the ones you want to reevaluate. Like, do you really want to spend your day when you see it, go, oh my God, do I really have to do this again? Maybe you need to rethink that relationship because that's not healthy.
Right. I know most of you thought we were just going to talk about personal relationships and like dating relationships, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of relationships. I think we touched on a lot of that. The biggest thing about having a couples relationship, whether it's a heterosexual relationship, whether it's not, whether it's I don't know, two best friends who are becoming more than friends, whether it's your friends with benefits, that's all up on you. I don't care. What you really need to look at is how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it fun? And how do you make sure you're respecting each other's boundaries, right? That's what's really, really important. There are a lot of nights I sit here and watch TV shows that literally I feel like numb my brain. But I do it because we enjoy being together. But by the same token, she sits and watches all my cop shows. She watches all my shows that I know she couldn't care less about, because that's what you do when you're in a committed relationship where you love each other. Now, there are times when she's like, you know what? If you're going to watch this, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm like, good night. Because that's what I'm in the mood for. I'm in the mood to watch this show.
And that's fine. And I can go watch TV in the bedroom and fall asleep and I love to sleep. So if I go to sleep, I'm good. I'm a happy girl. Leave me alone.
And there's plenty of times when I tell her, you don't have to stay up tonight to entertain me. I know you've got a headache or you're not feeling well or it's this or it's that. And it's true. We don't have to entertain each other. We do entertain each other a lot, but we don't have to, and I think to me, that's what's really super important. We are bumping up against about 10 minutes till 9 o'clock. I think we've had a great show tonight.
I think so. I think we touched on a lot of things and different relationships. And once again, before you start cleaning up other relationships, spring clean your own relationship with yourself.
Exactly.
That is where you're going to start. And you're going to realize when you start looking at your inner self and the things that you're doing that might be sabotaging your relationship with yourself, you're going to go, wow, why do I keep doing this to myself?
One of the things that makes me most proud of my wife and what makes me love her more and more every day is she came through a shit show of circumstances younger in her childhood. And she has never let that define her.
I'm not going to let it win. I'm not going to let it beat me. And that's how, that's selfish because I was never really strong, but I never wanted to be defeated. I always had that mentality that I had to be number one. And no matter what happened to me, I am not going to let somebody else win when I can win.
Right. And there's some people who their only joy or their only life comes from living in what happened to them. You're not what happened to you.
No, not at
You're
all.
what you make of yourself. My niece is one of my favorite success stories. She came from a jacked up childhood, and I'm not saying this out of school. She's talked about it. We've talked about it on Facebook before. She came from a very jacked up childhood that was just unbelievable. And today she's married to an incredible guy. She has her own business. She's an entrepreneur. He has a great job. They have, I don't know, 27 different animals. She has lizards, which I can't stand. That freaks me the hell out. But she has her life together. She's bold. She's courageous. She's adventurous. And she didn't let that define her. She didn't let her life define her.
You can't let the past define you.
No.
Now you can let some of it definitely can define you, even though it was rough for me and his niece. I mean, I grew up with her. I know her. I mean, she's half my age. She could be one of my children. But there were some good things that came out of those relationships too, that you let define you, like being stronger. Like, I'm not going to let them win. That defines me. And that's a good thing.
You can let it tear you down, or you can let it build you up.
You know, and you got to realize that, and like I said, it took me a very, very long time.
It did.
It did. And that's okay. It's not going to be miraculously, oh my God, I'm going to do this tomorrow and I'm going to be a different person. Some people can do that. It took me a long time because I had to let go of relationships that I was taught to have, that I was told to have. And when you're told these things over and over again, that becomes your reality. And so I had to get rid of that reality in order to move forward.
That's right. So, and again, guys, you know, not to make a shameless pitch for coaching, but that's a lot of what coaching is about. Coaching is not about your past. Coaching is about your future. If you're looking to leave where you're at today and leave all that garbage behind you and move on forward, you can always contact me at playbigcoach.com at playbigcoach@gmail.com. My website is being revamped right now. So if you're looking at it and it looks a little wonky, some things are here and there, it's all good. We're rebuilding it. It's going to be fabulous when it's done. I hope most of you have seen my new logo. I think it's beautiful and powerful. I love it. Shout out to Choice Virtual Assistant and Deneen Colvin, who did a great job with my website and did a great job with my logo. But reach out and let's see if we can get you from where you are to where you want to be. That's what coaching is all about. So why would you hire a coach? Because the difference between knowing and doing can be a million miles.
And sometimes you need that oomph, that coach to push you and to get into the doing.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's hard to take that next step into. So now I thought about this. Now what do I do? And you go, yeah, I'm just not going to do anything about it. But if you've got somebody pushing you and somebody, you know, going to push you and you know, hey, did you do your homework? Did you do, like, you're back in school? Did you do this? Did you do this? Do you want an A? Do you want to get that A? Then this is what you got to do.
That's right.
And that's what coach does. And sometimes when you get coach, you get me too. So, because we don't necessarily discuss like the person itself, but we will discuss how
the generalities
and what I would do in that situation.
Because just so you know, when I do coaching sessions, I do them in my office in private. We do adhere to HIPAA regulations so that I'll never say, oh my God, you won't believe what Billy Bob said today. His wife beats him twice a week or something. We don't ever talk about that. I'll come out and a few days later I'll say, hey, you know what I was thinking? What would you think about this situation and what would you do? The thing about coaching is everybody says, why do you call yourself the Play Big Coach? What is playing big? I feel like I've played big my whole life. I feel like that's always been my thing. I've always been here and I've wanted to be there. I've always, when we lost our job, when we had a job that we loved and we lost it and we had nothing, we started a brand new business. We started a job as the his and her chefs. And in a couple of years, we were wildly successful and something happened that knocked us down again. And we didn't stay down. We got our asses back up. We wrote ourselves up and this is what we want to do.
Because we coached each other. Over.
Yeah.
At that point, we were coaching each other. Like, what would you do? Why are we doing this? Because we talked about it. And, he coached me. I coached him. So that's what coaching is about. Is just lifting you up to that next level, helping you achieve that next level. Just because you failed at something doesn't mean that you can't get the A on it the next time. Go for it. You just have to know where to go. Going.
That's it. And that's the thing is that's what coaching shows you to me, that's what playing big is. It's people who are already successful. They already have it inside them. They just don't know how to turn it loose. My thing is that I can show you how to turn it loose. I can show you how to go from being a, baby rattler into being a cobra. You know, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on with us tonight. We are bumping up against 9 o'clock. Check us out at www.playbigcoach.com. It's a beautiful new website that's coming soon. We've got some great specials on there. There's a new thing. There is a self-care packet on there that you can click on and it will email to you. It's really beautiful. Denine's been working really hard on it. And if nothing else, if you're curious about what a coach can do for you, schedule a 1 hour talk. We'll just talk.
That's all it takes is 1 hour. And you can go forward. You can say, hey, it's not for me. And it's all good.
But that 1 hour will give you an idea of exactly what I think I can do for you, where you're at and where you want to go. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Until next time. Thank you for joining us on the Play Bigger podcast. Coach Curtis is dedicated to helping you grow, thrive, and excel. Playing bigger is more than a tagline. It's a lifestyle. So be sure to tune in every other week for more from the Play Bigger Coach. And check us out online at www.playbigcoach.com. There you can schedule your free 1 hour Play Big strategy session. We look forward to seeing you soon.